Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matt. Welcome to today's webinar, which is a repeat of number 1, nominal codes in this series, management reports that we've been running so far. If you've already attended 5 out of 6 of the webinars that we've been running this week, tomorrow is the quiz at 11 with myself and Jackie. Once you've attended that and the other 5 webinars, remember, that's when you will qualify for your management reports badge 2025. Exciting stuff. So this is now the second go or attempt, if you missed the first one, at nominal codes. It's going to be around about 45 minutes. I think you might get some time back. It's not an over complex webinar today. It's going to be a bit of a demonstration in there just to show you exactly what the nominal codes are and the structures, but to give you a bit more of a structured itinerary, we're going to be looking at this. So an introduction to the nominal ledger first. We're going to be looking at nominal code types, what they do, what's available. We're looking at the nominal structure. Remember, this is going to be default. If you've created your own nominal structure, it will be different. We're going to look at setting up a new nominal code as well, and that's where the demonstration is going to be in. And I'm going to go through everything in one long demonstration for you. So fire your questions in as we go. Then we're going to have a look at the nominal record and then a summary of what we've learned today. You may not learn anything today, maybe a refresher. You may already know all this information, but it's always good just to double check because there may be some hints and tips that I show you today that you didn't know. Then I'm going to play a video on the Incredible Badge, how you claim it, what it means, and obviously provide you with some extra support. If you've been to a webinar before, you'll know the rules. If not, these are the rules. Essentially, your microphone is muted automatically. So if you get a cough or sneeze, don't worry, we're not going to hear you. You can also sing along to your radio. Don't worry, you won't interrupt us. The handouts have been attached, so if you could download those now, it's done. They include handy links for you to click on, basically giving you more help and advice about nominal codes, structures, and ledgers, and a lot of resource in there as well. As always, we're joined by an expert crew. We have Michael, Jackie, and Abby, 3 experts answering your questions today. So fire away with all the questions you possibly can. We prioritize answering the questions about the webinar first. If there's any other questions, we will try and answer them within the allotted time frame. If not, we'll catch up with you after. But again, you've got all of us here today, so please fire the questions in when you can. Superb. Right then, so let's join in. Let's start. The nominal ledger. What is it? So the nominal code is going to be assigned to every single transaction that you process. Okay, to basically a list of all the codes, your nominal ledger, that are in the software and assigned to the transactions. Every transaction does need a code, sometimes 2. So for example, if you're posting something as simple as a bank receipt, you have to tell the value of that bank receipt where to go, where you want to place that value, just so that when you're running reports, the value is going to be where you need them to be, where you expect them to be. Makes your reporting more accurate and gives you a better look at the health of your business and the accounts, essentially. Sometimes there is 2 nominal codes that work in the background, and this is done by a control account, but we'll go into that in a bit more depth on the next slide. Now, the nominal codes, they're always organized by the chart of accounts. Again, the chart of accounts is either default, the one that we've created and provide you with, or your accountant or yourself may have organized your own chart of accounts, depending how you want to see your information. We tend not to get involved in that. We can tell you what things mean and how to process certain things, but how you want to view your information is very much largely down to yourself. So if you're using the default chart of accounts, brilliant. If not, and you have any questions about chart of accounts, then Jackie's going to be running a webinar next week, a repeat of the one from Tuesday that goes really in depth with the chart of accounts, explaining what balance sheet, profit and loss, etc. all mean to you. Now, as you can see on the screen in front of you to the right-hand side, that is in Analyzer view. Those little crosses next to each title brings down a drop-down menu, so you can examine and go into depth on your nominal codes. I myself use the list view, which again is usually the standard default view you get when you first open Sage 50. We'll have a look at that during the demo as well. I did mention those 3 different types of nominal code. So what are they? So you've got a bank account, so a nominal code which is created and it sits inside the banking module. We're going to look at the difference of those, so have no fear. I'll explain those in the demonstration as well. A control account, that works in the background. So if you were, for example, to process a sale, £100 and £20 for tax, 120 in total. 100 go to your sales ledger, £20 to your tax account, tax control account. So that is done in the background by Sage for you. So we're not going to go too much into depth about that, but it's just so you know what's happening in the background with your control accounts. And then you've got your nominal account, which is basically all of the standard nominal codes within the software. That odd, a control account, and that odd, a bank account, essentially. So nice and easy there. 3 different types: bank account, control account, nominal account. Again, if you've downloaded the handout, you've got this slide in there, so you can have that in the background if you ever need to refer to it. So control accounts, a bit more in depth. They are the nominal codes used when automatic postings are made, such as the debtors and creditors control accounts, as I previously mentioned. Now, you can't delete a control account, but if you haven't entered any activity, you could potentially change the nominal code it was using based on the nominal structure that you want to use. So for example, if you wanted to change the first code there on the list, which is 1100, to say 1101, you could do that as long as you haven't used that nominal code yet. As soon as a nominal code has activity against it, it can't be changed. Now what you see in front of you is pretty much the defaults there for the control accounts. However, again, if you've customized your nominal codes, speak to the person who designed them in order to find out what they mean. We wouldn't be able to translate that for you, because if you're using a unique or personalized version of the nominal code structure, Sage wouldn't be able to give you any information about that. But something to note is you'll see in that list there on the right hand side, there is exchange rate variance near the bottom, and it's blank. And the reason for that is that uses a module within Sage 50 accounts called Foreign Trader. In this example, I haven't turned that on, essentially. So it hasn't been given a nominal code, hasn't been designated a number at all. If I was to activate Foreign Trader, it would ask me to nominate a nominal code for the exchange rate variance. It would provide me with an example first of what it potentially would do, a suggestion, sorry. So yeah, that's, if you've got any blank ones, it's because they haven't been designated to anything as of yet. So it's not a panic moment, you just probably don't use it. That's about that, nice and simple. So the example that I gave you before, the control accounts, is you've got in front of you here. So we've made a posting to nominal code 4,100, which is squared off there. To the right-hand side, you've got net 100 and the VAT of 20. So £100 is going to the nominal code 4,100, which is the sales code. £20 of that transaction is going to the sales tax control account. And this is done by your control accounts in the background. You don't have to send it there yourself. You don't have to type in 3 different transactions, just the one. Sage will take care of the rest for you. But again, just an example of what's happening in the background for you there. So nominal structure. Let's have a quick look. Nominal codes, typically 4 numbers, as you can see in front of you there. You can have more. You can go to 5 if you wanted to. Again, we wouldn't particularly advise on that. If you ran out of nominal codes, maybe you have to do that. Sticking to the 4 makes it more uniform and easier for Sage to gather the information for your reporting. So we tend to say stick to the 4 nominal code structure if you can, but you could go higher if you wanted to. So typically 4 digits by default. Now, they are grouped together for reporting purposes. That's the whole reason for them. So if you want to have a glance at your business's information, all the figures are going to be mapped to the correct place. All the right values are going to be in all the right columns, under all the right headings, so you don't have to fact check or double check anything whatsoever. The whole reason for them. Now, the ranges can be further subcategorized, and they are. I'm going to show that in the demonstration. When you are setting up a nominal code, it is key to think about the subcategorization of these nominal codes, because you could quite easily create something in the sales gap there, 4,000 to 4,999, but it may not fit in the product sales, etc. I'll show you that in the demonstration though, so don't worry. So without further ado, let's head straight into that demonstration so you can see what I mean with what I'm saying. And here we have Sage 50. Excellent. Left-hand side, you've got your modules. We're going to go straight into nominal codes here. Now, for this example, let's say I want to set up a new product code and it's for sales. As we showed in the nominal code structure there, my sales was 4,000 to 4,999 essentially. So we're here to here, 4,000 to 4,905. And what I want to do in this demonstration, in this example, is I want to set up a sales Northern Ireland. So what I'm thinking about doing is setting it up as 4101. Again, it might not be the most obvious number to use, but that's just for this demonstration. I want to use 4101. What should I do first? Well, the first thing I should do is consult my chart of accounts, just to make sure any figures that I enter into that nominal code are going to be reflected correctly in my reports. So I'm looking at setting up sales Northern Ireland for 4101. Let's have a look. Let's start the check. So before I select anything, I always do swap clear, swap clear. A little hint and tip there means that you're not selecting anything here. You're not going into where you shouldn't. Blank slate. So with nothing selected, chart of accounts. In here, this is where you might see other layout of chart of accounts. If you've got any personalized ones or ones that have been created by accountants or anybody who bookkeepers who may run your accounts for you. Again, we're just going to be using the default one. So I'm going to click on edit so I can have a look in. And here we have the chart of accounts. I'm not going to concern myself with the right-hand side. That's just an example of what it's going to look like. What I want to find out is the code I want to use for my sales Northern Ireland 4101. Is it available? So I go to my sales section here on the left. If I went to purchases, the subcategories are here. Direct expenses, same again. Overhead, same again, etc., etc. In balance sheet, again, you've got your headings, your categories, and your subcategories below. We're going to focus on profit and loss though. So sales is what I want to create, product sales. And I did say 4101. Now, as we can see, it would have been a mistake if I hadn't checked the chart of accounts because 4101 would have fallen into my export sales. So any figures that I entered into that nominal code range straight away would have reflected incorrectly on my reports. So I know my subcategory now by checking, it has to be between 4,000 and 4,099. It's a quick, simple check to make, and it can avoid a conversation with our chat team or our telephone support team. Because when you come to run the report in a few months' time and the figures are wrong, it's going to take some diagnosis to find out what went wrong. And usually one of the first questions is transaction details, can we have the nominal code? So now I know it has to be in between these ranges here. Now more information on chart of accounts again, you're going to be going through that with Jackie next week. So that's where I'm going to close down this window here. I'm going to go back to my nominal codes in list. Remember, you've got your analyzer view up here in the top right hand corner, but I'm in list mode. So 4,000 down to 4,905 here. What I'm going to pick is sales north, south, Scotland, Wales. Makes more sense for me to have 4,005 because 4,004 is already taken. So 4,005 is the one I've now decided on. So I want to create that nominal code. So how do I do that? A couple of different ways. If I'm honest with you, first way to look at would be to duplicate something that is the whole same structure or same setup. So sales north, I could highlight that, and there's duplicate at the top here. If I was to click that, it would open up the nominal record, and then I would type in the detail, 4,005. If I was to accidentally type in 4,004, just as a tip, it brings up Sales International. So it's letting me know that's already taken. So 4,005, and then I would change the detail here to Northern Ireland, etc. Could do it that way. I'm not going to do it for the demonstration though, so we can click no to that one. The next way that I could do this would be create it from scratch. So again, swap clear, nothing selected, click on new, nominal code I wish to use, 4,005, indicates a new account, and again, type in Northern Ireland. Superb, nice and easy. Or what I could do is the easiest option, in my opinion, an option that we should all be using, use the wizard at the top here. Okay, so I click wizard. I want to create my sales Northern Ireland. Type it. It's going to be a sales nominal code. Category, product sales, and look, it's already recommended I use 4005. The wizard has done absolutely everything for me. So it's negated a lot of the work that I've already done just by clicking on that button up there. There we are. So I would click next. It asks me if I want to post an opening balance. In this instance, I'm not because it's a new division. So then I will click create. Sage will do its thing. And there we have it. Sales, Northern Ireland. No activity against it whatsoever. And as long as there's no activity, if I've made a mistake, I could right click and delete. Or I could delete it just by right clicking, sorry. I thought the delete button had disappeared there. I could also edit this by entering the nominal record. So right click again, edit at the top, or highlight and edit at the top there. And let's just say I'm just going to change the title here, Sales NI. Nice and simple. So that's how you would create that nominal code just for the sales division. Use the wizard, it's always going to be quicker for you, and it takes out the risk of unnecessary human error, because we all can make mistakes, can't we? The wizard will take care of that for us in the majority. Now, if you were to use a code that had been previously used, exercise caution with that, because although you're recycling it and you may have zeroed off all the balances, somewhere within Sage 50 there could be residual figures still attached to that nominal code. So if you were to run reports, it could throw up a red herring. So best advice and top tip is when you're creating a nominal code, use something that's never been used before. That way you're avoiding further human error or figures that may be slightly incorrect. So always start afresh. That's best top tip on that one. Now, let's say I want to create a bank account. So what I'm going to do here is I've got my nominal codes in the banking module. So out of nominal codes, click on the left from 1200 to 1240. So if I find that in the nominal list here, 1200 to 1240. I want to create a bank account. So right click in new. I'm going to select 1201. I'm just going to call this current account 2. Click save, close. As you'll note, it is there within the nominal range for my bank account, so my banking, current account 2. If I click on bank accounts, however, it isn't there. It doesn't exist. And that is because I've set it up in the nominal codes module. So this is a big call driver that we get. You do set up your nominal codes here, but when it comes to a bank account, it must be set up in the bank accounts module. And the reason for that is, I'll demonstrate now. If we click on edit on the 1200, which is the most common bank current account, you'll see here all the detail and account type is bank account. If I do the same on the nominal code I've just created, click edit, because it was set up in nominal codes, it has been set up as a nominal account. So to set up a nominal account, you set it up in nominal codes. To set up a bank account, you set it up in bank accounts. Now, let's say I've made this error. I can go to bank accounts. I can click new. I can type in 1201 in the bank record. Click save, and it'll say a nominal account with this reference already exists. Do you wish to convert it to a bank account? Yes. I click save, and there we have it. It's appeared now in my banking module because it is now a bank account nominal code. Still in the nominal code structure here, obviously, always will be, but now it appears where I think, and I would have thought it would have appeared anyway. So again, big call driver, that one. Anytime you're setting up a banking nominal code, set it up a bank account. Major thing. A nominal code is just a nominal account. If you've got activity against that bank account or the nominal account that you set up as a bank account, you're going to have to enter it in the bank account section as a new one and then just type in an opening balance. It can't be converted once there's activity against it. Hopefully that's nice and clear. So let me just double check here. That's all fine. Good, good, good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the nominal record in the demonstration and what the wonderful things in the nominal record can do. So I'm just going to, again, I'm going to pick on my sales nominal codes. I'm going to pick on sales north, 4,000. Double click. And let's explain what you see in front of you here. So you've got the nominal code, title, balance, what type of account it is, if it's active or inactive. You've also got the actuals that are listed in there. If you do have budgeting or advanced budgeting, you've got your columns that are going to show up in there as well. I don't have that active on this part of the system. It's a good question that's coming there from Hilary Green. Do I have to delete the 1201 nominal code once I have set up the bank account? No, it's converted. If you've done it the way I showed you there, it will convert it into a bank account. Good question though. Keep them coming. So back to the nominal record in front of us. You've got sales north, balance, control account, and you've got, as I said, the budgeting columns. You've got budgeting as well, and you've got your actuals. They're the details. This is the generic detail of the actual nominal code itself. Now in Memo, this is where I can put attachments on. Maybe you've received invoices for that nominal code, emails, or just general information that you want attached to that nominal record for whatever reason. This is where you would do it essentially. You would add the attachment. Now, we often get asked what is the largest size attachment that we can apply here. There isn't really a hard and fast rule to that one. It's basically what your system allows, what your hardware allows for. So check with your IT first. If you don't have IT, then it's just going to be a case of trying to attach it and see what messages pop up, but there's no kind of hard and fast rule to that one. Usually you find that a JPEG or a picture or an image or a scan or what have you isn't that large, so you should be fine with that. That's essentially where you would attach all the detail that you wanted to in the memo section. Now, the most used and the most beneficial section, I think, of a nominal record is the activity section to the left-hand side here, because this is everything that's happening within that nominal code. And what's even better within Sage now is that you've got these drill down buttons here, little hotkeys that you can click in. Let's say this sales invoice here in June, click on this little arrow and it brings it up. So I don't have to exit screens, click on the left, have a look around, note down any codes or reference numbers. I can just access it from the nominal code by clicking on that button. And I can check what information I need to check from here quite easily. So again, that's key for me. And it should be for you as well, being able to check on what's going on in your nominal codes, see what's being processed. It's good for record keeping. Again, you can send this to Excel and you can examine it and get forensic within Excel to the detail that you want from it. So yeah, a very, very popular aspect of a nominal record, underused in my opinion, but yeah, you can always check the activity left-hand side. And speaking of unused features as well as graph, so if we were to click in here, you're going to see a graph appear of your figures, and you've got options at the top which let you pick what you want to see. If you want to see prior year budgets as well, if you've got your budget activated, it's going to be tucked in there. But prior year versus your actuals, or maybe just your actuals, you're going to see the information in a line graph or a bar graph. Now, if you're accessing this for the first time, another popular question, let's just pick on Scotland here. If I'm going to access this for the first time, the nominal record, just quickly open it here, and I go to graph. Oh, I've already done it there. Let me find one where I haven't done before, a good example. Let me just take my time here. There we go. It seems I've done all of them. I've been using it for that long. But what you may find is that in graph, no options have been selected when you first open it. And this will be blank. The screen here will be absolutely blank. So what you do there, if you do see a blank screen in front of you here on graph, don't panic. Click on options at the top, then graph select will appear. Just tick on what you want to see. Obviously, I've just set this record up, so there's going to be nothing there. But when you go to, let's say, Sales North, graph and options, again, graph select, you pick what you want to see. And again, it's going to be displayed in front of you, your information where you'd like it. You can print that as well. Usual options apply, but not very often use that. And I think it's a good insight, good visual insight, especially if you're a visual learner, like a lot of us are, to see your figures in front of you. Brilliant little feature. So again, my opinion, activity and graph, use them when you can, especially if you're doing any kind of investigations or you just want to glean some information from your data. It's going to be in here. And if it's not in there, then obviously what you want to do is find out why. So if you find a sales invoice, put the wrong nominal code, that's it tucked in here, could explain why your figures aren't adding up correctly. So it's a good tool to use. Superb. Let's see, been getting the questions fired in, keeping everybody nice and busy. Fantastic. Let's just quickly go back to the slides. And go through what we've been through. So first off, we looked at the profit and loss. Basically, the explanation for that is your liabilities versus your assets, and it shows if your company's making a profit or a loss, essentially. And it includes all the nominal codes that are in front of you there and the subcategories, which are very important. Remember, in the demonstration, I showed you the key aspects of making sure that you're selecting a subcategory that is correct. Otherwise, your figures are going to go into the wrong place. Your values aren't going to be where they should be. Therefore, when you run your reports, they're not going to reflect real life. It may cause some confusion, because if all my Northern Ireland sales are going to do export sales there, I wouldn't know that at the time of processing. I would only know that at the end. And obviously, it would be like Hansel and Gretel trying to unpick what had happened, rather than taking that 30 seconds at the start of the process to have a look at the chart of accounts and find out where the nominal code should fit. Even better, use the wizard, and the wizard will recommend one for you, taking that element out of your day, speeding the process up. Profit and loss operates nominally much like the balance sheet as well. So you've got your subcategories and your main categories. Again, you can personalize these as much as you like, but we tend to stick with the defaults. Most people tend to stick with the defaults, if I'm honest with you. But if you do have a personalized nominal code structure or a personalized chart of accounts, consult to the architect of it, whoever designed it and created it, before you do any investigation, because they may be able to explain why certain figures are in certain places. If your figures are still incorrect after that, give us a call or access chat, and we'll try and help you diagnose what's going on, as always. We looked at the nominal code setup. So the three options that we went through was new, gives you the blank record to create. The wizard is a step-by-step guide, creating the record, and duplicate as well. Again, that will copy the nominal code with the same settings. So I could quite have easily have done that in my example there, but I wanted to show you all three. And the top tip, and the must remember, is when creating the bank account, it's always best to do that from the banking module, because if not, you're creating a nominal record. And the nominal record, when you double click into it, is as follows. You've got the details, it holds the nominal record details, along with the monthly figures and actuals and budgets if you have that activated. You've got your memos for your attachments, and you've got your activity in there as well, which is great for investigation and great for viewing in a finer detail the numbers in front of you. What's also good for that is the graph, a visual display of your figures as well. I much prefer that option. So in summary, what we've done today is we looked at nominal codes, and we've basically explained that you use for every transaction to categorize transactions for your reporting within Sage. That's the reason for them, to make sure that your values are where they should be on your reports when you run them. Incredibly important to consider what code you're going to be using, because if you're going to be using a wrong nominal subcategory for say 12 months, you're not going to know that until you've run that specific report. Okay, Sage provides you a full list of standard default codes as well, but these can be customized. If they are customized, speak to the architect of that customization. And when, again, you're creating a bank nominal code, make sure it's in the banking module. If there's no activity against it and you've accidentally created it in the nominal section, you can convert it, but avoid that in the first instance and just create it in the module where it belongs, the bank module. So this is kind of the start of your journey through management reports. It all starts at the nominal codes, making sure that your numbers go to where they should be. The rest of the management reports webinars that we hold explain the intricacies of the chart of accounts, trial balance and profit and loss, and also running your management reports, reconciling your aged debtors and creditors reports, and also your business dashboard. It's a very popular one, that business dashboard one. So these are the titles of the webinars that we're going to be running through in this series. Again, if you've already attended this week and you've done at least 5 or 6 of the management reports webinars, the quiz is tomorrow with myself and Jackie at 11. Once you've attended that, you'll be able to claim your Incredible badge, which is on the right hand side there, Management Reports 2025, Sage 50 accounts. What I'm going to do at this stage is I'm going to play a video for you on that Incredible badge, and I shall be back with you in just a moment. And we are back. There we go. So we had a few questions come in about the Smart Link option, which I called the drill down option in activities. So I'm just going to go through that again because I may not have been entirely clear when I was showing that. Apologies on my behalf. So what I mean is when you are to access, again, I'm just going to use Sales North here. You go into the nominal record and you click on activity. The Smart Link will take you to the sales invoice that was created at that moment in time. If you're batch creating invoices, you're not creating a single invoice, you're creating a batch of them. So it's not going to take you to those bulk invoices. It's just going to take you to the invoices that were created in invoices and credits. Okay, so if you've created an invoice in here and given it the nominal code it needs, it will then appear in that nominal code activity. So then click on that nominal code activity and that sales invoice is going to appear in this list. And when you click on this Smart Link here, it's going to take you to that invoice. So example, in a real life example, if you're on day-to-day checking your nominal codes here and you see a transaction, oh, hang on a minute, here's one here. This looks like a duplicate. Let me have a look at that invoice. Click on the smart link and it will take you there. So you can see the detail of that sales invoice. And again, the detail here, so you can see, is it a duplicate or was it meant to be there? Just as an example. If you're going to use batch invoices, it can't take you to the batch of those. Hopefully that's cleared that one up. If not, let us know in the questions. But that video that I played for you was the credible video, and that's how you would claim your badge, essentially. For other resources, if you have downloaded a handout, you'll be able to click on the link. If you haven't, I'll click on the link. For sage.co.uk/help. Obviously, our support guides are going to be there and instructions on how you complete certain tasks. All you've got to do is type it in the search bar and there will be an article there for you to follow. If you struggle with the article or you can't find what you're looking for, we've got our chat service, web help. And again, if you want to take it further, you can give us a call on our telephone support as long as you have the relevant subscriptions. What is even better though, we may be biased in saying this, is if you go to sage.co.uk/webinars. More often than not, we've recorded a webinar on the subject that you're looking for, and it'll contain more information and hints and tips, as well as demonstrations for you as well to view. So there's loads and loads of resources available for you. If you just get in touch, if all else fails, we'll be able to guide you in the right direction. I'm going to check on the questions now, just for the guys to see if we're all caught up. We've been keeping them quite busy. There we are. I think we are all up to date. Superb. Excellent. What a lovely day. So thank you very much for your attendance today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was nice and clear and succinct. We do have feedback forms, so on your way out the door, if you could fill one in for us, that would be excellent. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, any improvements we could make, or any subjects that you want covered. We do read every single comment that you leave for us, and we much appreciate them. So if you could fill in that, it would take 30 seconds of your time. That would be wonderful. And on that note, what I shall do is I shall end the webinar for you. Thank you very much for your attendance. Speak soon.